All right, Monday morning, the 10th of July. We are fresh off of blowing up the Step 2 account on Friday. And so we're done with that one. We got the new one step, one cup challenge going on. So if you know, you know. Let's get this thing started and see what we can get done today. So I really like this first setup. We got a good clean pullback, uptrend line with bullish trending price and delta. A real good consolidation back to the trend line, which I'm looking at long. But I did get burned real bad on buying off a trend line. I think it was on Friday, maybe Thursday. So I'm a little timid here. End up, putting in a consolidation trend line to break out of and hopefully retest. We end up popping out of that trend line and never looking back. It never retested. I wasn't willing to chase it. So really the only entry I could have got was off of the support trend line, and which would have been before the breakout, and I just really wasn't willing to take the risk at this point. We are on a brand new account, so it's extra important not to start with a bunch of mistakes. So missed the first trade of the day. Good setup, good run, especially over 2 minutes, but didn't take it, and so we'll get on to the next one. So now we're getting a big leg down rotation. I'm seeing resistance as well on the ES. We get a little pullback on the NQ. Get an entry in. Good clean entry. Good exact retest of the exact spot we were looking at, the 20s there. And it pushed for a good leg down. I just wasn't really willing to see if it would break out of the bottom of that previous swing low candle. Obviously it did, but like I said, fresh new account, first trade of the new account, so I was happy just to get a good profitable trade in. It's always good to see that it ran to my target, giving me a little more confidence, A, locking in the profits, but B, also knowing that my target could get hit. So good progress so far, and I'll take it.
Order filled.
We end up legging up to value area high again, starting to rotate. The ES was touching the pivot point, almost just shy of the pivot point at this time, and then it reverses off value area high. You get a good break of the trend line. As it starts to come down, I jumped the gun. So I entered a little early. The ES was already breaking down, so I kind of jumped the gun on the NQ, thinking that the ES would just pull it through the breakout, but it didn't. It bounced, immediately stopped me out, which really hurt because it was a max stop out, but a really good trade. I mean, the setup was clean. I just a little early, and I know for a fact that early is the same thing as being wrong. So it's a huge mistake on my part. Just especially with a tight stop loss, you can't afford to be early. Things shimmy and shake around, and you will for sure get stopped out. You need to have clean, precise entries. So it ends up stopping me out. I immediately re-enter and just bailed out too quick. I was scared after the mistake, and it laid down for a great target hitting trade. Would have been nice to get, but big mistake on the first trade, entering too early, cost me my profit trade on the good entry as well. So get another breakdown of this trend line, this consolidation. Just didn't have the guts to pull the trigger. Didn't really retest, broke out very quickly and just ran one bar to profit target. I was a little weary about how far it would run, but I did have plenty of room in this trade to hit my profit target. I just really didn't have the guts to do it, so I ended up not taking it. I then start looking for a breakout of the top side. This top trend line of the consolidation just wasn't great, wasn't very clean. And there were some points of resistance just above my breakout. I really shouldn't have taken this trade. I got to pay more attention to these potential resistance points that are just above my entry. I mean, not only do I need it to break the trend line, but then I need it to, hopefully go through these other resistance points like VWAP in this case. And it just didn't have the momentum to run through it. So I ended up getting stopped out of that one, and it ran down pretty far again. Just really should have been a non-trade, but at the time I thought it was a good setup. Another mistake there, which cost me. We get a good breakout of the redrawn trend line, adjusted, and VWAP, which is also a good clean breakout with the point of control on the ES, and it makes a nice run. I knew it was running into resistance at the top of that big first candle. Was scared of a potential reversal, so just got out before I found out. And it consolidated there for another 2 minutes and then popped again, which that one would have got to target, but I wasn't willing to risk what little profits I had there just to see if it would pop again. And so I took the profits and ran. All in all, it wasn't too bad. I mean, $70 isn't anything, but could have been a lot better, obviously. A couple mistakes cost me, but I mean, we're out of the day in profits. So can't complain too bad about that on day one of the new account. And showing good signs, at least the setups and the trades that I was looking at for the most part worked out. And so we'll move forward, try to eliminate those small mistakes. Those cost money, but more importantly, letting the good trades hit targets. They're really precisely thought out targets and stops, and there's a very high probability of hitting them, and if there's not, I shouldn't be in the trade. So when I do get in the trade, I really need to focus on letting those run the entire way, because every time you take profits that are smaller than your actual target, you're really killing your tradability on your risk reward and your win rate. It's 35% win rate is possible to profit on, but not if you're not hitting your 2-to-1. So anything less than 2-to-1 increases the percentage of the win rate that you need in order to be profitable, so it just screws up the math. But we'll get there. Work in progress. It's not easy when you get burned over and over again to let stuff run to your target, but that's the goal. And got out of here on day one with a few dollars, and hopefully do a little better on day two.